When we use the term animal research, what we mean is animals that are specially bred for use in laboratories in the UK. Animals used in research in various ways in the UK. They're used to help to find out about what happens inside a living being in health, but also in disease. They're used to try to find out how diseases develop. And they're also used to test potential new medicines, firstly to see whether they actually work in the way that we hope they're going to work, but also to check that they're safe before they're given to human volunteers. The requirement in that area usually is that medicine has been given to two species of animals, two mammals, usually a rodent and a larger non-rodent species. And the hope, obviously, is that that new medicine doesn't produce any ill effects in either of those types of animals. And if it doesn't harm either the rodent or the larger non-rodent species, we can be as certain as we can be, in the high 90% of certainty that the new medicine will not then harm a human being. And this system has worked very well for 50 plus years since the regulations were brought in. When we talk about animal research, we're not talking about cosmetic testing. Animals are not used to test cosmetics or the ingredients for cosmetics in the UK. That was banned in 1998. When we talk about animal research, we're not talking about testing tobacco, and we're also not talking about testing household products like washing up liquid or bleach or floor cleaner. So when we talk about animal research or animal testing, what we mean is either the discovery research that's been carried out to try and find out about diseases, testing to see whether a potential new medicine actually does work as we hope it is going to work, or the safety testing, the regulatory safety testing that's required by law at the end of the process before you give a new medicine to human volunteers in clinical trials. Animals also get used for veterinary research, so research to develop medicines and treatments for animals, pet animals, farm animals, stock animals. So if we want veterinary medicine, it's hard to see how we could continue with that progress on veterinary medicine without using animals. We do have a lot of non-animal methods available, and an awful lot of research is being done and an awful lot of investment is being put in to trying to find new ways to answer these questions that don't have to use animals. So wherever those non-animal methods can be used, they are used, and by law they have to be used. It's illegal to use an animal in research in the UK if there's an alternative that could be used instead. And anybody who wants to use an animal in research has to prove and has to demonstrate that there isn't another non-animal way they could use in order to answer that question. I don't think there's anybody who would choose to use an animal or would say that they would rather use an animal than a non-animal method. Quite the opposite. If there is any other way of answering these questions, researchers would much rather not use an animal. Quite from an ethical point of view, but also from a monetary point of view, financial point of view, animal research is incredibly expensive. And to be able to answer the question without using an animal would also generally be a much cheaper option for people to follow. Personally, I wouldn't say I'm pro-animal research. Understanding Animal Research is an organisation that just wants people to understand, and public opinion polling asks people whether they can accept the use of animals in research. And I think I probably can accept the use of animals in research, but it doesn't mean I like the fact that animals have to be used in research. I don't think anybody likes the fact that animals are used in research. But until we can find those alternatives, then if we want to carry on with medical progress, if we want to find more treatments for cancer, if we want to see if we can find some way of preventing cancers from occurring in the first place, from Alzheimer's disease from developing, if we want to find treatments for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, motor neuron disease, all those other diseases that are still outwitting us at the moment, then I think, like the majority of the public, I can accept that animals are going to be used in that research.